going to ask a couple questions. We'll go to the audience. And while we're doing that, can I have a couple of volunteers go ahead and tape his mural up there on the wall? Thank you. So we can do this really interactive project. I'm really excited about that. So when you're done, put that up there. Check out the Grove. It'll just be a fun time as everyone's leaving.
Yeah, perfect.
All right. So listening through your talk, there were so many great points. But one thing that really struck me was you're really working with some small businesses, the taking in their brand, and then in several of them talking about how that has really elevated or created or became part of their brand. How did you learn to do that? And is that some skill that you have? I'm assuming as you work with more and more small businesses, you may have some like, oh, we just don't meet in the middle. Or talk us through just that process of how you've learned that skill.
Yeah, it's taken a while to learn because, early in my career, I would accept any job I could. And a lot of those jobs were, our ideas clashed and my style wasn't right for them, but they just wanted an artist. So it took me a while to develop a style. And I think that's the most important thing to learn when you are working with clients is you have to have your own style, your own representation in order to collaborate with them so that you can represent them too. They have to like you and you have to like them. So when it came to something such as like Crank and Boom or any other job, they found me because I do a lot of colorful things and whimsical things, and ice cream is fun and whimsical and colorful. So yeah, I think it's just finding the perfect match on both ends.
Well, and you talked about this, your brand kind of evolving over the last couple of years. I think the first time I kind of heard about you was the Pokemon chalk art.
Yeah.
So it's evolved. So do you see yourself continuing to evolve, I guess, over time, your branding? And where are you on that stage?
Yeah, I got started in chalk art. Before I knew I wanted to be an artist, I just did chalk art for fun. And I drew a lot of Pokemon. I once drew all 151 of the originals over a 3-day period. It's crazy. But even then, I didn't know I was going to be an artist. So, once I left college. I was doing that in college, and I left college and graduated. And I was like, what do I do for the rest of my life? Once I started painting about every day and kind of put the pressure on, like, I have to paint to pay the bills, so I have to paint every day. That's when I really think I started to, my skill level elevated significantly because there was so much pressure I felt to, like, just pay the rent every month. So my skill level just shot up because I was doing it every day. And I think that's the most important thing is just keep doing it.
The 10,000 hours mentality, that the more hours you put in, the better you get.
Yeah.
Well, and so thinking about, at the time I was working at the city and all of a sudden these Pokemon chalk art popped up right next to City Hall. And I remember I was working at the City Hall and people in the mayor's office, and they're like, what are we going to do about these Pokemon? They're popped up. Do we wash them off? Do we not wash them off? They're really beautiful. They're right next to...
They might be illegal.
And at the time, and I remember this conversation, and it really goes to this idea about public art. And at this time, it was chalk. It was going to wash away, but it was just hilarious. And they were beautifully done. Watching some really senior people thinking through, like, do we wash this off? Do we not wash this off? It's
That's so, I didn't know this. That's so funny.
I know. Your chalk art is infamous.
Thanks. I was literally just bored. I was in Lexington, had some chalk in my car. I'll just spend a few hours. Blah, blah, blah. And then it was in the Herald.
All right, I'm going to ask one more question, then I'm coming to you all. All right, where are my questions here? So the other thing is murals are public art, which is fascinating. We actually had the Winters, one of our second talks was about murals, and that they do Prohibition, so the big mural festival. And the concept, too, is that murals also kind of over years wash away. And so I don't know, as you're thinking through the murals, that like in 50 years, in 100 years, that mural may or may not be there because it's been washed away or it's just faded in time. Any kind of thoughts to that? Like, these aren't everlasting pieces of art, potentially.
Right. Yeah, and I that's what I loved about chalk art specifically, because that would last days. It would last until the next rainfall. And I love that aspect of, it's here for a short period of time. You see it in person. And if you don't, it lives on in photos. And murals are similar. They last a lot longer than chalk. But again, they're not permanent. It is just paint. And there's only so much protection you can put on paint until, the sun and weather and everything, blah, blah, blah. But I like the fact that, anything, it can just, fade away and start over. I'm not attached to any of the artwork I do. I'm proud of it. I'm glad it gets to live for the amount of time it does. But if it does fade away, I'm like, cool, let's just paint another one then.
And that was, it really rang a bell when the Winters were talking. He's like, they aren't meant to last forever. And it was an interesting concept. We look at this beautiful Lincoln mural that's kind of fading. It doesn't have its bright, beautiful colors that it used
Right.
to have. And they say, like, that's the point, which is just. All right, so now let's go to the group we have here.
Wow.
Dun, dun, dun.
Gold star. Gold star.
If we were taking
Beat me
shots
to
here,
it.
everyone would be in trouble. Yeah. All right, right here.
Yes, it's definitely different because chalk art, I would only go as big as like, my arm could reach or as far as I could, reach whatever. Murals have to go a lot bigger, so I had to learn different techniques of how to scale these up. And we'll actually be doing one today. So a design like this, to get the huge, I would grid it off just on Photoshop or something, and then I blow up the scale of the grid on the wall. And I focus on one like 4 foot by 4 foot square at a time or something. So I'm just painting within kind of that chalk art zone of somewhere I can reach. So when you put these together, this is like what you're looking at on these pieces of paper is how much I'm able to paint at one time, and it's how it stays proportional. So when you put that up there, it's like you're painting that one grid, and then it'll all come together. So yeah, I definitely had to learn some new techniques when it came to huge murals.
All right, we'll go here.
Yeah, and I had those same questions when it came time for me to paint the Grove and like these huge murals. I'm like, how do I like get up there? Turns out you can just rent a lift and they drop it off. It's like super easy. It shouldn't be as easy as it is, truly. You don't need a license. You don't need to have any proof of anything. You call, I need a lift for these days. You pay for it. It shows up. I'm not kidding. You don't even have to be there to meet them. They drop it off. And then you watch a little YouTube tutorial on how to operate it, and next thing you know, you're 3 stories high. It's really nothing, super professional. So that's how it works.
Who else? Yeah, Dan.
Have you ever done any sort of mentoring or sort of help develop other people, either in art or taking their art to a professional level? And I'm really thinking about, for me, like, become my shtick now when it comes to CreativeMornings. Every question I ask is always about equity and how do we bring art and success and business to underrepresented communities or communities who haven't had these kind of opportunities.
Yeah, that's a great question. I haven't yet taken on a mentor because I feel like I'm still in the process of learning, and I've been a freelance artist for like just 2 years now. So no, I haven't taken on a mentor. I would, or haven't taken on an apprentice or a mentor either. I would love to do that, and I would love to figure out better ways to represent, underrepresented communities. But as of now, it's just me. People come to me. I take the job or I don't take the job, but yeah, it's really it's me up there painting. But I'd love to talk to you more about representing underrepresented communities. That would be wonderful. That was a great question, by the way. I wish I had a better answer.
Well, and that's also brilliant to think about, is that you're also relatively new in this career.
Yeah.
And then would you say the TikTok has helped elevate and get your name out there? Or I think that's just an interesting component of a lot of your murals have gone viral. So maybe just talking about that, and that's probably played a part of just the last 2 years.
Yeah.
Social media has changed.
Yeah, social media has been everything for my career. I was a broadcasting major at EKU, so I never studied art or practiced art in college, really. I just did art on my own. But that broadcasting career did teach me a lot about technology and how to edit videos and tell a story through a video. And so now I always film the process of how I paint things and do things and put them on TikTok. And that has really boosted me and been able to create a lot of jobs for me and get me noticed, not only in Lexington, but nationally and globally.
Well, and you can really tell watching your TikToks, they're just really well done and really well thought out. And so, like, that's an interesting component of artists or creatives knowing how to effectively market and talk about themselves.
Yeah.
That was a great skill.
Yeah, it's such a fun tool because you can pick any music you want and you don't get in trouble for copyrights. It's a blast. And I didn't get to do that in college. You had to, go through like royalty-free stuff, and yeah, it's way more fun making videos now.
What's their most famous TikTok right now?
I think it's that cerulean wall. That's got about 6 million views. It's that, and that is tied with a video of me falling off a slide and breaking the slide. So, yeah, that's the internet.
All right, just a couple more. Yeah. Mm.
Mm. Thank you. Wow. Thank you. What a humbling comment. Thank you. Yeah, me and Da Vinci have a lot in common. Thank you. That's so sweet. I think it's still there, and I say that because, funny, on TikTok, somebody commented on my TikTok, "I live here now," and she had posted a video, and I think I saw it in the background. That was a while ago. So it might still be there. I'm not sure. I hope so too. Yeah. But if it's not, I'm going to recreate it somewhere else for sure. Even better.
Any other questions? Okay, so we'll go here, and then here, and then here. That'll be our last ones. Yeah.
Yeah. It's horrifying. Yeah, it's crazy. I just kind of took it 1 month at a time. I've got enough in my savings to pay for next month's rent, bills, whatever. If I could just make enough money for 1 month painting, I could just, take it month at a time. So that was how I kind of made that leap, was just little steps. And I did. That first month I sold enough, took every job I could, and it just was a slow grow until we got here. But yeah, it's really scary. It's scary to quit. I was working at Kentucky for Kentucky right after college, which was a great job. I love that job. But then I just I got a few inquiries about art. I was like, I think I can, maintain this and do this full time. So I just let's do it. I think, now's the time to do it. I'm just selling T-shirts. I don't have a lot to lose here. Let's paint. So yeah, but it's scary. It is.
All right, over here.
Yeah. I don't really, because paint to me is it's just paint. If I mess up, I just edit, paint over it. I'm not scared of paint like I would be of getting a tattoo. I have one tattoo, and that took some pep talk. But yeah, paint to me is if I paint this whole wall, all I've done is waste some time. I just redo it. I've learned something every time I mess up or make a mistake. It really is a learning process. So I'm thankful for mistakes like that, and I encourage you, if you want to paint your room or paint whatever, it's just paint. You can always repaint it. So yeah. So not usually do I do a little pep talk.
And I've seen a couple of your videos where you have painted over, and I'm like,
Yeah.
Just restart it over.
Yeah, sometimes it's not even a mistake. I just I think I have a better idea, and I'll start over. So, which I think chalk art kind of taught me that. It's it's just there. You spend hours on it, and it goes away, and then you do something again. So, can't get attached to it.
All right, no, right here.
Yeah. I love traditional painting. I have I'd say 95% of my painting is paintbrushes. I do a little bit of spray painting. I've only ever done one mural that was fully spray painted. And it turned out okay, I think. But I much prefer painting traditionally. I think that just looks cooler. A lot of murals these days are spray painted because it's faster and it's more convenient, but I just love the look of brushstrokes, and it feels nicer, and it's just my thing.
All right, so this is the last question. What is anything else that you want to say to the audience? This is your last moment. You have a microphone, you have a floor. What else do you want to say?
Well, that's a question.
I know.
How do I relate this to folklore? I don't know. I just really want to thank you all for coming. It's crazy to see so many people here, so many people I don't know show up and see me talk about art. I had no idea what I was going to say about things I do. I was just going to show pictures and say I painted this, and so yeah. Thank you all for coming. Yeah, just thank you.
Yeah.